Hello and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. My name's Simon. This is my daily Bitcoin price action analysis. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you're all well and you've enjoyed your weekend. Before I get straight into the price action, just want to remind you this is not financial advice. Right, we've got a weekly closure coming up on Bybit. I just wanted to reference the weekly closure that already happened on CME, which you can see here. It's an indecision candle basically, which kind of represents a balance between downward pressure and upward pressure, or selling and buying. So that on its own doesn't mean a great deal. What follows it is more significant. So that was CME's closure on Friday, and Bybit's not closed yet, but you can see it's had some the latter part of the week on Bybit, i.e. since Friday, has shown a bit more buying pressure. So I think that manifests itself more clearly on the lower time frames, which I'll come on to in a moment. But that will close in 6 hours. So it'll be interesting where it is. Regardless of that, it looks like it'll still be within the same range. And that will indeed be 6 weeks, as I've been banging on about for the last few days. Okay, I'm going to zoom down to the low time frames on Bybit. So I think we'll just jump in with a 4 hour. And you can see here, the 4 hour does appear to be trending to the upside. It looks like it is getting some resistance around the midpoint, and 4 hour closures back below this low, which is, we'll just call it 62.5. I know it's not quite there, but well, actually that's more like 63,000. So somewhere between 63,000 and 62.5, closures back below there would kind of negate this the last few days as an uptrend, and more of a kind of continuation of a downtrend, but on the higher time frames. And then to look at that in a bit more detail, I'm just going to zoom into the 50-minute time frame. So you can see that here, and you can see basically what happened. So this was the big impulsive move to the upside, which happened Friday overnight for me, really. And then a pullback to not quite 50%, but, nearly. And then another move up. But it hasn't, it's sort of been consolidating with a small pullback. So it hasn't continued with this impulsive price action to the upside. It's more like sort of sideways, and I would suggest that there's therefore a range, but on the very low time frames, with the bottom coming in around sort of 62.8 and the top not being far from the midpoint at sort of 65.7. So you can take a midpoint of there, which is basically where Bitcoin is now, and extrapolate from there that sort of very low time frame trending down, you'd want it to get support around 62.8. Otherwise, this then would look less like an uptrend on the low time frames and more sort of consolidation-y, but potentially with the etchings of a reversal. So as expected, really, a bit of resistance close to the midpoint. But at the moment, still look for more upside on the lower time frames, and I do wonder if that then bleeds into next week. Now, if you go back a few videos, you'll be able to see me going on about 8 weeks sideways consolidation, and if as long as on the lower time frames Bitcoin doesn't break down and start closing below, or on any time frames really, not necessarily lower time frames, but 59,000, then it will be range bound, and therefore will spend some more time in this $15,000 range. And I did say for several weeks ago that this could go on for 8 weeks. 6 weeks is now complete. So I think if Bitcoin's going to break out to the upside, it probably happens in the next week or two. And that's probably all I can say. And the counter argument, I think if it's going to break down from here, which is less likely because it's still in an overall uptrend on the higher time frames, then it probably happens in a week or two. So what I'm saying is that based on the consolidation areas of the current bull run, 8 weeks has been the common consolidation time frame, with only one real outlier, which was 13 weeks. I think if it went sideways for 13 weeks, it's almost certainly going to go up, and it probably would be a bigger move too. But I think for now, maybe we'll get a resolution this week, but I would look for it to be more likely next week based on what's happened in the bull run so far. Oh, that seemed to take a lot of explanation. I don't really know why. What else have I got to say? What else do I want to cover today? Not too much more, actually. Seem to have a weird triangle forming up on the chart. Triangles, of course, in most powerful geographic structure, or the geographic? No, that's wrong. Geometric shape, but I don't know why I'm talking about that because it's completely irrelevant. So anyway, yeah, just quickly check on momentum, which I don't think I've got up. So if I just have a quick look at the MACD, and you can see here that it certainly is above the zero line and will remain or won't cross below the zero line, according to Caretaker's indicator here on the MACD, unless the price gets down to 60,000. Now, that number does change as it gets closer to the zero line, so you can't be absolute with it. But what does that equate to? It effectively equates to another assault on the bottom of the range. And if it did that, then I think I covered this in yesterday's video, maybe Friday's, then what you would get would be more of this sort of thing. That would look very bad if you're looking for more upside in Bitcoin, and it would look very good if you're looking for more downside. So switching momentum towards the bottom of the range wouldn't look then good for more upside, in my personal opinion. So yeah, I think upside is more likely at the moment, certainly while the MACD is above the zero line, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It may be that anyway, no, I'm not going to go into that. Right, there you go, that's enough. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please like and subscribe. But if you haven't, don't go back tomorrow for a fresh week on Monday, because I'll be doing it all again. All right, take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.